Welcome into a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, powered and driven live here by Ghost Chevrolet. Remember, online, our friends are there at GEAUXChevrolet.com in Baton Rouge. If you're looking for a used car, go stop in and see them at Ghost Chevrolet at Go Express Auto Sales, Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. For a brand new model, stop out in Laplace as Go Express Auto Sales here in Baton Rouge, and Go Chevrolet out in Laplace, Louisiana. Everything online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show here on this Friday morning. It is raining overnight. It should clear up for a beautiful weekend. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. Happy belated St. Patrick's Day. Happy pre-St. Patrick's Day parade here for you in South Louisiana as everybody's gearing up for the big wearing of the green tomorrow over in the capital city. Should be a beautiful Saturday down here in Baton Rouge. As we said, we appreciate you starting your Friday with us. Make sure and hit the like, share button daily. We're brought to you by True Blue Water, our friends over there at TRUBluewater.com. If you want to jump on the delivery route, Metropolitan Health Group bringing you our phone line every day. Real doctors, real solutions. Shout out to Jason Ramazan and Charlie Harvey over at Metropolitan Health Group. As today on the phone line, we will talk to Nathan Velasquez, the 5-minute critic, at 8:30 this morning, as he will stop in and talk about Netflix maybe charging you for your password sharing now.
Bastards.
Took them a long time. They could clean up on that, I'd imagine, especially here on the Culotta Show.
I feel like that they, because of how much they were charging, they
absolutely.
knew that this was part of the
this was
game.
happening. Yes.
Yeah, so keep it the way
Why
it
are we
is.
penny pinching now on
Yes.
Netflix?
I mean, unless you make some sort of banger of a
multi-billion-dollar
series.
company.
Yeah. They do spend a lot of their money like that they make going in on content, but just keep it the way it is. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
To each their own with their money.
Yes.
Leave me alone with our passwords.
Yeah.
We will talk to Nathan coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Brian Polian, recruiting coordinator for the LSU Tigers, special teams coordinator, going to stop by at 8 a.m. this morning. Looking forward to catching up with Coach Polian, some of the things that have stood out to him in South Louisiana. What is he anticipating going into spring football? What does he think about this roster and some of his special teamers going into the season? If nothing else, the Tigers are loaded at punter, right?
That's what you want to hear when you're going into the season.
Bramblett, the kid from West Monroe. Bramblett was the transfer from Notre Dame, who's one of the top punters in college football last year. And then, of course, LSU was able to pick up Todd.
Peyton Todd?
Peyton Todd.
Yeah,
good pull, buddy.
Let's go. Got another
back-to-back number one punters in the country, as Bramblett held that title in his recruiting cycle. Jay Bramblett did, and then West Monroe's Peyton Todd had that moniker during his recruiting cycle, and now they're both on LSU's campus and coached by Brian Polian. So we'll get his thoughts from what he anticipates at that position and some other special team spot going into spring.
Maybe pitch him the two-punter setup back there, you know.
Everybody wear number 39?
Two-punter system. That's what Les used to do. Didn't know who was who.
All right, remember daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones, our friends over there. Edward Jones at the in Central Louisiana, Magnolia Square. Edward Jones can help you out with any financial questions that you may have. And remember, we tell you all the time, if you work in the industrial field, in the plant field, stop in and see Daniel Newman out in Central and let him help you out with any financial advice that you may be looking for. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. What an opening day of the NCAA round of 64. As we said, going into it yesterday, we really weren't feeling it over here on the Culotta Show. I think it was a little bit of the Will Wade news hangover from earlier this week. LSU going to tip off this afternoon versus Iowa State at 6:20 in the Midwest region. That'll be up in Milwaukee. We'll preview that game a little bit before we get out of here. But yesterday was a pretty wild opening day as 3 number 1 seeds were on the floor yesterday. All of them advanced, but a number 2 seed in Kentucky bounced in day 1 by St. Peter's up in New York. Out of New Jersey is where that school is. And I gotta be honest, man. This feels like one that will live on forever. This feels like one of the top 10 upsets in March Madness history, as both Indiana and Kentucky lost last night. But the story was Kentucky, who was an 18-point favorite versus the Peacocks on Thursday night.
St. Peter's Peacocks.
As St. Peter's made 9 of 17 shots from three-point land, while Kentucky was 4 of 15, and Kentucky missed a ton of free throws last night. They were 12 of 35 from the free throw line last night. As St. Peter's moves on to the round of 32 against the 7th-seeded Murray State Racers, but now you look at this 15-2 upset, and this is the 10th time that this has happened. I think there's been 148 games of 15 versus 2 seeds, and this is the 10th time that a 15 seed has upset a 2 seed. Only once has a 15 seed ever won a second game. Anybody know who it is?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
So this is the 10th time that a 15 seed has defeated a 2 seed. Or excuse me. This is the 10th time. That's right. The 10th time that a 15 seed has upset a 2 seed in the tournament. Only one time has a 15 seed ever won a second round game. Do you know who it is?
Ooh, I would only know this. This is the only reason I have a guess is because I was reading about this a little bit in one of the little like Yahoo articles or whoever writes. Is it Florida Gulf Coast?
It's Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, Dunk U.
Yes.
Is that who it was? Yeah. They had an electric
Andy
run.
Enfield.
Yes.
Got a big contract from that.
Where did he end up after?
USC.
Oh, good for
Yeah,
him.
he's head coach at USC right now.
Tried to play the same game, I'd imagine. That dunk squad was an awesome time in the tournament. It's one of those
hell of a team, dude.
Seminal tournament runs where they're like, oh, they've been branded. You're going to see them. Like, it was kind of like when George Mason, like every year there's a little bit of a Cinderella. It's just a matter of how long they stick around, and they were able to make a big footprint. So those are always the funnest things in my mind. You just don't want too many upsets because when the bracket gets down to 16, 8, and you're like, oh, who's Mercer still here? Lehigh's in here? Like, you want to see some of the good teams in college basketball, but the first day, this was awesome.
Oscar Tshiebwe last night had 30 and 16 for Kentucky, but he missed a pair of free throws early in overtime that seemed to be costly for the Cats. Ty Washington last night was held to 5 points, 2 of 10 from shooting last night, as Kentucky falls 85-79 to St. Peter's in overtime last night. You hate to see it, even though the basketball gods had to be smiling down at Dickie V, who had Iowa and Kentucky in his national championship game and had the Cats walking away with the title, cutting down the nets. I know Dickie V is sick. Our best and sympathies to him, but tough not to be laughing at the old man today as he had Iowa and Kentucky after a week in which I know he has been victory lapping and celebrating the dismissal of Will Wade along with his buddy Calipari. To see those two home from the tournament just a day into it does leave me smiling. I got to be honest. If you want to throw a little personal feelings into this tournament this week, but Iowa was the other team that was upset yesterday as they fell early yesterday to Richmond, 67-63, a 12-5 upset for Richmond as they were able to take care of Iowa yesterday. Iowa was one of those teams coming into the tournament that everybody was kind of felt like a kind of
dark horse,
or a pick that everybody was on, man, because they were playing pretty hot going into the tournament. But they felt it felt like watching them yesterday. It like they were like cement. It felt like they were almost like sedated, like they just were like a step behind. They never could get going, and it wasn't like that Richmond played all that well, even though they deserved to win the game. But it was more that like Iowa just played bad. I mean, it was almost like they just couldn't get going. It felt like.
See, I thought that Dickie V was actually going to win the bracket challenge because when I saw who was in first place for
Is that Dickie V?
It was Jordy Culotta who's an idiot, and I thought that might have been Dickie V, but it turns out his bracket is absolutely busted.
Yeah.
So,
he's in shambles. Hate to see that, Hayden Paris.
Now you're officially the pair.
Yeah, right.
You ran the other pair out of town.
Arkansas last night barely gets by the Catamounts. Vermont tough opening round matchup for Musselman and the Hogs as they get through for day one. But I thought that day one of March Madness was exactly that, mad.
It
right?
was.
I mean, it was fun. It was exciting. And for someone who really looks forward to this time of the year, yet going into this just didn't have the feeling and push behind it, I thought day one really kind of captivated us going into day one and some of the upsets yesterday. Colorado State does not feel like a 6 seed. They feel very undervalued at that spot.
Cash a little ticket.
Yeah.
Got a little insight on Colorado State. So I worked with a guy over the summer, interned with him with the Cane Cutters. He was our play-by-play. He goes to Colorado State.
Wow.
And he does play-by-play for them. And he was telling me yesterday, I asked him before the game, I was like, look,
how you feel?
Michigan, how you feeling? Michigan's like kind of a tough draw. And he was like, bro, we're going to beat Michigan. Like, I'm telling you, we're going to beat Michigan, lose second round. So I picked Michigan, though. Like, I picked Michigan on my bracket, but Colorado State lost.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to win, though. They started the game, like, it started off.
That was the closest game of the first the first round of games. It kind of was like status quo until you hit the afternoon, like the second slate of games. And then that's when the madness kicked in, and that was excellent.
Yeah, my bracket's busted. So
who'd you have? You had Kentucky, didn't you?
No, I had Auburn.
Noah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Auburn. But I had Kentucky going to the Elite Eight or Final Four.
I was wondering if we were going to see Jack here today at all.
Oh.
Big UConn guy. Gets ousted in the first round.
By New Mexico State.
Oh.
It's tough.
Who was the guy for New Mexico State? Stitches?
Banks, my guy who's at his 5th college.
Oh, I mean, he looks it. I mean, he was a breath away from a technical, like ruining all of that goodwill that he had established.
Teddy Allen.
When he dropped 37.
Yeah. Allowed 37.
That's what I'm saying. He was barking.
37. I tell you who I was very impressed with last night. And if we're starting to look ahead and starting to think of maybe some names to watch out for in a coaching search, and this may be the route that Scott Woodward has to take. Did anybody watch the Murray State-San Francisco game last night? That was a really good game that was back and forth. Now, that was a 92-87 win for San Francisco. San Francisco, for Murray State. But the two coaches in that game, I thought were very impressive. Todd Golden first for San Francisco, and then Murray State's head coach is, want to make sure that I got this right. But just watching that game and watching those two teams go back and forth, Matt McMahon, those were two very well-coached teams. And when you look at those two guys, two very young, up-and-coming guys in the coaching profession. McMahon is 43 years old. Todd Golden is 36 years old at San Francisco. And these are two names that I believe Scott Woodward would have on a short list if you're going into this part of it. Now, I believe that Woodward is probably prepared and has been prepared for the what-if scenario if he had to move on Will Wade. So there's probably a list in his desk or a list that he trusts that has some names on it that he may already be working on. But if he's watching this tournament looking for prospective coaches, to me it would be tough to look at last night's game between Murray State and San Francisco and not see McMahon and Golden squads and just see how well coached they are. I mean, it was a back and forth of two very well prepared and very well guided basketball teams. Now, the players deserve a ton of credit on the floor as they put up a really good game. But I'm telling you, man, that was a fun game to watch. That was a fun game to kind of get into because it was just back and forth. It was cool to watch those guys going back and forth. Now, today, Friday, same thing, right? Still kind of day one feelings of the opening day of the tournament with squads tipping it off for the first time. And you'll see LSU and Iowa State this afternoon tipping it off from Milwaukee. That'll be at 6:20 this afternoon. So just what a cool time, man. What a cool tournament. What a cool deal to really watch. And, when it always delivers, it feels like it always delivers during this time of the schedule. It's always fun to watch. And LSU and Iowa State will have their turn on the stage this afternoon at 6:20, but everything up to there was was fun to watch, man. Yesterday was really cool. Day one of the tournament. Don't forget, we got our Foodie Fridays coming up here. Compliments of Iverstein's. Iverstein's, of course, the butcher shop located on Perkins Road in between College Drive and Essen Lane, where you can find them. They're moving right down the way, just down Perkins Road, heading towards Essen, pass over Essen. Right there on the left, there's that shopping center that used to feature Roman's Lebanese food right there on the corner, and that spot has since closed, and Iverstein's will be moving into that spot pretty soon. Our Foodie Friday coming up here with the cooking couple has been a huge success over the last month, and really looking forward to what we'll be eating on today, as they'll be in here this morning near the end of hour 2. We'll also talk to Nathan Velasquez coming up here at 8:30, an hour from now, in dealing and talking about some of the things that's happening in Hollywood. We'll talk LSU football with special teams coordinator and LSU football recruiting coordinator Brian Polian. Will stop by the conversation at 8 a.m. this morning, as we'll dial up Coach Polian and get his thoughts of spring football and some of the things that he's done around South Louisiana since landing on the job just a couple of months ago. How they've turned this roster around was something that we will focus on, is something that we will focus on with Coach Polian coming up here in about 40 to 35 minutes when we begin that conversation. But yesterday's March Madness opening day was fantastic. Don't forget this afternoon, little change of plans, as our Friday at Fred's has been fantastic with Mic'd Up. Here for St. Patrick's Day, we're going to shift the remote over to Uncle Earl's, which is going to be right there on Perkins Road, as Mic'd Up will originate from Perkins Road over there at Uncle Earl's starting at 3:30 this afternoon. So if you are looking for a place to start pre-gaming for either the LSU baseball game tonight, the LSU basketball game at 6, or you just want to start getting ready for tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, come stop by at Uncle Earl's this afternoon and check out Mic'd Up. 3:30 to 5:30 this afternoon, as we will be live there for everybody. We were over there testing the spot yesterday. All the traffic, you could feel everybody moving around. You can feel this weekend starting to pop for everyone, and everybody getting ready for it. So it'll be fun. Come stop by and see us if you have an opportunity. If you knock off early a little bit this afternoon for work.
Dude.
I don't know how
Friday,
anybody
March
could be
Madness,
working.
and you have, I mean,
I don't know how
St. Patrick's
anybody.
Day Saturday, right around the bend. Who would be working today?
It's a great question.
Weather's kind of bad. Go inside.
Is the weather supposed to be bad all day?
I don't know, but it's bad right now.
What's going on, Stewie?
So you might as well.
What's going on? Let's see if we can't dial up Dr. Caparato here.
Weather's not supposed to be bad all day.
There we go.
Yes.
So I'm saying it's bad now, so don't even go to work.
We're gonna get a little sunny at 1. Starting
Perfect.
to get sunny
Okay.
at 1. So we'll get some sun. Come out to Uncle Earl's tonight, or 3:30.
3:30, stay there all night.
Yeah.
Don't sleep there. Wake up there in the morning. You're ready for the parade.
Right. Just walk. Do you
Just
think?
walk. Do you think?
What's your plans tomorrow?
Mine?
How much? Anybody? Go ahead.
Yeah, what you guys do?
You got it.
I'm trying to figure this out myself. I shot the text out yesterday. There's a little kegger going on, which I haven't heard that term in a minute. So might dust off the old keg, but I'm making a big push for Nelly I'm trying to rally the troops to get everybody, like, they're halfway in, halfway out. Like, there's no half step into this thing. So if we can go, I'm trying to get them there today so they can buy wristbands so they don't have to, pay the $100 at the door. Get your wristband this morning between 10 and 3, I think.
Yes.
And you're able to get it. I think it's $55. Cuts the price in half, dude. So that's what I'm thinking. That's where I'm going to be.
And Nelly is going to be the first
one of the
first
day.
act.
It's the only one you'll remember.
It's the only one you care about, right? I mean, it's the only one you can really make. I mean, I saw that Manny Fresh is starting at 7:30 tomorrow night. I don't know if there is if you said that there was $1 million waiting on you at 7:30 tomorrow night and you partied tomorrow like I plan on getting after it, I don't know if I would be able to.
You wouldn't be able to collect. I could still be there, but it wouldn't be like,
right. I mean, can I stagger in? Can somebody carry me on a stretcher in? Can somebody drive me over there? I just don't know how I'm going to make it. I hope I could.
I need somebody to film it because I don't know if I did it or not.
Yeah, right.
Like, I heard you had $1 million. I was like, that would be news to me.
Right.
What are your plans?
Same, bro. I think I'm going to come park at the Noodle. and just kind of
venture.
Yeah, right.
Bike
just kind of roam. Maybe a bike. I just don't know how that. Where are you gonna park that thing?
It might be a sunk cost at that point. You might just have to get a new one. No, Lil J. Just
no Little J.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah, right.
Ziggy's.
Yeah, a little nervous feeling.
That's
the
good.
butterflies.
Yes, that's good.
Stewie, what you got?
Little game day feeling.
It does. It does.
I don't know.
Ooh, the I don't knows all around the room. Dangerous.
That is dangerous.
Dangerous.
But if the boys could get together, maybe.
That's what. Yeah.
Stewie, I don't know how you would not do Nelly tomorrow. I mean, being your age,
he might be
college
too
crowd.
young.
No,
Really?
I'm not. No
Okay.
way.
No.
I
When
think
Nelly was-
we're too old.
I
Nelly
definitely am.
No,
I
Nelly
definitely
plays.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about for the crowd. I just think that it's going to be if you go at 1:30 tomorrow, I think that the general medium age of the crowd is going to be trendy college, right? Like, I mean, I don't think it's going to be.
I don't think this is in that a little Super Bowl halftime arena, a little bit younger, but I think Nelly doesn't make any new music. All of his hits are from the early 2000s.
That's true.
I would say
Good
the
observation
ages,
there.
I would say the ages would go from probably 23 to 45.
I'm in
tomorrow.
Yeah, you're
I'm
in.
in.
Dude.
So
I'm in.
the window's there. Right.
It's
gonna be a
shirt off, Muscleman.
shirt off Muscleman day.
From the levee first, get a little pop.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been working out.
A little fake tan today.
Get a spray.
Orange. All right, what about this Deshaun Watson situation? Let's get into this before we talk to Brian Polian coming up here at 8 o'clock, and we'll get back to March Madness and everything going on the hardwood, as day 2 should set up to be a really cool one, just like day 1 was. LSU and Iowa State this afternoon. Our friend Nick Underhill over at NewOrleans.football is reporting that Deshaun Watson did, in fact, did, in fact, meet with the New Orleans Saints for the second time, but did leave without a decision being made. Now, many believe that decision and choice to be made here pretty soon, possibly today at some point over the weekend. I never heard that the Saints were favored. I just heard that the Saints got the second meeting. Now, one thing that we did learn yesterday is that Cleveland's out of it and Carolina is out of it. It seems like this thing is coming down to 2 teams, New Orleans and possibly the hometown Atlanta Falcons. Arthur Blank, who is the owner of the Falcons, has a relationship with Watson, going back to Watson as a child, where he was the ball boy for the Atlanta Falcons growing up. Atlanta holds obviously a near and dear spot to him, and he feels like that. He wanted to meet with Atlanta and see if there was a possibility of joining that team. I don't know what Atlanta truly has that they can give up for Watson and what that's going to mean for the possibility here, because one thing is evident is that, look, Watson has a no trade clause. This is going to come down really to his choice. That doesn't make a lot of people happy, but I mean, Watson's pretty much getting everything that he wants in this scenario. Now, maybe not everything where he's fully on the open market, but he has teams that are interested in him, and he gets to pretty much choose where he wants to go. Now, whatever the compensation, that each team has to give up, it has to be agreed upon. But, Watson can come in and say, I don't want to go there. I have a no trade clause in my contract. I can shut this down, or I'd rather go there than here. And still, as we said, no decision has been made up to this point, according to our sources in NewOrleans.football. Nick Underhill is our source, and he is the best in the business. And you can read his work at NewOrleans.football to keep up with everything that's going on there. But
yeah, there were some reports that came out yesterday that said that he was like a signing with Atlanta was imminent, and it felt like, I put it in the group chat, and it felt a little bit like somebody shooting
Forced
their
it.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like not that many followers, but they're like, all right, I'm trying to break a story here. And then I went to go to Nick Underhill's right after. He's like, don't believe anything that you've read the past 20 minutes. Like, Deshaun Watson is still deciding. And then he linked it to another Houston reporter on Twitter that he has been following and actually brought on his podcast. So Nick Underhill is the one to get the news from, because he's absolutely plugged into the situation. Absolutely.
Make sure you're following Underhill on all of his social media. Make sure you're following NewOrleans.football to keep up with the latest. This is Matt Ryan's final year of his contract. The salary hit of Ryan, the salary cap hit for Ryan, I think I read was somewhere of upwards of $40 million. It's almost like a Russell Westbrook type contract. I mean, they backloaded this thing, and here you are at the back end of it. Nobody's going to sign up for that number. Nobody wants to take on that contract. I just don't know what Atlanta has to give up, and it seems like New Orleans has a really big trade offer on the table as well. A couple of future draft picks, a couple of players. Teron Armstead, who is the top free agent on the market by many people's perception at this point, is kind of hanging around waiting to see what the decision that Watson makes before he makes his ultimate move. So there's a lot of dominoes that could potentially fall either way here on Watson and where he can land and what the Saints are going to have to give up. But it does feel, I would just say this from my personal standpoint, which means nothing to this overall negotiation, it does feel like New Orleans is kind of the favorite here. It feels like they are the team that is sitting in the catbird seat as far as they've got the most on the table. They have an offense that Watson has to be attracted to. I know it does not have Sean Payton, and that takes a lot of the luster off of it, but Pete Carmichael still being around and the success that the Saints offense has experienced under the direction of Payton and Carmichael having a front row seat the entire time, almost really riding co-pilot with Payton up there in the front, has to be something that you can really sell to Watson as far as just on the field stuff. As far as the off the field stuff, I think we've talked about it all week long. It's a polarizing topic. It's a fence. You're on either side. I don't think anybody's kind of hung in the middle on this thing. But either way, it looks like Watson is up against the clock here. And, over the next 24 to 48 hours, you'll know where he's playing football next season. And it feels like New Orleans, at this point right now, is probably in the lead.
Well, it feels like New Orleans would be the Texans' choice, right? It seems like the Saints have more to offer and more that Houston could recoup. But it seems like Deshaun would either – I don't know if he wouldn't agree to go to New Orleans. I think he would. Obviously, they're still on the table. But it feels like he wants to go to Atlanta, but there's nothing that Atlanta can offer that would probably sniff what the Saints are offering Houston. So from like the business side of it, I think Houston probably wants the Saints to offer more, and they're trying to get Deshaun on board so they can recoup picks. What's Atlanta going to do with Matt Ryan? Are they going to freeze him out? Like if Deshaun Watson signs,
I think they might force him to retire.
That's what I'm saying. That would be what an unceremonious way to go out. Like that's a bad look for the franchise. I know
price of winning.
Right. I know you don't really care, but I mean Matt Ryan was the guy that got him out of the Michael Vick hole.
Oh, he's the best quarterback in the franchise's history, right?
Yes,
Could you argue that?
Yeah, Vick was probably transcended the position.
I think Vick would get a lot of votes just because of the athlete that he was, but as far as consistent play and numbers, probably say that Matt Ryan is the best quarterback in Atlanta's history.
And imagine if the Saints wouldn't do this to Drew Brees. They wouldn't. This is essentially the same.
I wonder if Tom Brady. I wonder what they would have done if Brady would have said, kind of behind the deal of, get this done and I'll end up there. I mean, I think a lot of people thought that Peyton imagined that Brees was going to retire, so started the conversation with Brady 2 years ago when he wanted out of New England and kind of said, look, if Brees goes, we got a home for you, Tommy.
Right, but this is different than if. This is the Falcons saying, you are going because we're getting Deshaun. That would have been the Saints saying, Drew, I don't care that you're coming back. We're getting Tom Brady. And the Saints, I don't know if that was ever an option, but the Saints didn't have the business end of it, the cojones, to pull the plug on Drew, even though if they would have, it probably ends in a Super Bowl run.
Hughes Bowden, Atlanta's first-round picks will be way more valuable than the Saints' first-round picks. Matt Gross, the Colts will need to pick up Matt Ryan.
I thought Baker was going to the Colts because he wants out.
Baker's playing in Cleveland.
Baker, Reagan, Mayfield?
Yes.
The third?
Bad look. Scott Oldham, Kyle Pitts tweeted, things are about to get crazy in Atlanta, and then he deleted it.
And we can't because you're not going to be there.
I don't know how you give him up.
Well, you would have to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Houston, you have to give up Kyle Pitts. And there's rumors of CD Deuce being in the trade block for Deshaun from the Saints. That rub some Saints fans the wrong way just because he's already a crowd favorite. Is anybody untouchable on the Saints roster? Kamara?
Kamara is untouchable.
Michael Thomas?
No,
I would trade him.
I would trade him. Ryan Ramczyk?
But
I've heard his name mentioned as a trade also.
So if you trade Michael Thomas though, like where do you go at receiver? But like, and if you trade these picks too,
you draft one first, and then you draft one with your
well,
first.
what if they're
round pick?
trading one? What if they're trading the
true.
picks?
Jarvis
this year?
Jarvis into one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying you got to get somebody.
Yeah,
because you're right. You saw what the Saints looked like without Michael Thomas last year.
You got to have, and Traquan's out too, right?
Yeah, he went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
and now Jarvis is visiting Atlanta today. So they could all of the things that the Saints wanted to do. Atlanta could be doing.
God, what if Atlanta ends up with Deshaun and Jarvis
and
Tyrann
Matthew?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Back to the Bengals, dude.
Oh man. And then they draft Stingley.
Oh, cool. Well, I guess they lose that pick. Falcons fan.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. You can find my guy, Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, nowhere because he's got no social media and he's got no website. He does it because he's got all the work, man. Call him today. Does the best work in town. Not even close. 225-776-2431. 225-776-2431 is the number to get in touch with our friend Jude Barker over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. They are number one and a number two business, specializing in all works of plumbing, industrial, commercial, residential, and backflow prevention. They employ 30-year veterans, and they have the young, future up-and-coming workforce of the plumbing industry. They are experienced carpenters and plumbers that they have on staff. If you need an industrial remodel of any kind, they have 2 trucks covering Baton Rouge every single day. So if you need any work done over here in Baton Rouge, they're originated over in Plaquemine is where their offices are in West Baton Rouge, but they're working over here in Baton Rouge every single day. 225-776-2431 is the number to get in touch with Jude Barker over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. If you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, all you got to do is mention us, and he'll take 15% off of the bottom line. It doesn't matter what the sales call is, whether it's something to just come out and consult, check out something that you may have a leak or you're concerned about something, or you need a total job done and you need, you know what you need. You need a couple of pipes clean, you need whatever it may be with your plumbing services. If you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Jude Barker over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works will take off 15% from the bottom line. All you got to do is dial them up today, 225-776-2431. 225-776-2431 is the phone number, as we will talk to Dr. Steve Caparato in 15 minutes here and get the latest on what the weather will look like, not only today but through the weekend. And we will talk to him from over at WAFB. Sorry, I'm just confirming this with Cap right here.
Oh, no worries. How long will Nelly be on stage, do you think?
I'd say an hour and a half.
Hour and a half? That's a long time.
Yeah.
Try to think. Do you think he goes repeat songs? Do you think he brings like some back, like that you'll hear?
Probably an hour.
Country
now that you say
grammar.
that, yeah. Well, I mean, play the hits, bro.
Yeah,
Don't ever think it.
Yeah,
Don't ever think it.
All he's got is the hits. After that,
exactly.
It's a big drop off.
I don't want to not to say I don't want to hear no.
I mean, you can't bring like Kelly Rowland out there and do the duet that you have to.
I will say this. I think there's going to be a collab with what's the country song? The country
Flo
people?
Rida?
No, the country people.
Right. County Paris Line.
They might go a little over and over again. That little country.
What is that?
The Nelly times Garth Brooks country song. They might do it together. They might play the country part and he does the rap part. That would be my prediction. That would be it. Because they're coming on right after Nelly.
Wow.
So you see the crowd change pretty quickly.
What a time slot.
Yes.
That's a tough crowd change and everything.
Yeah.
Delucci 86. 6:20 isn't the afternoon, LOL. For some reason, it bothers me. Jordy said LSU plays at 6:20 this afternoon a few times.
What is it?
Buddy, sorry, man.
Late
it's
afternoon? Evening.
6:20 in the evening.
Jeez.
Sounds like this guy's at dessert time.
Petey Peterson.
Yeah. I'm just undoing the covers at 6:20. I'm going to bed.
Just out of the shower. Donnie T, Atlanta doesn't have any money, so they won't have to give up all of their picks. Or they will have to give up all of their picks. Donnie T, you got to think about the cap hit when you trade a player with a big contract. Yeah, Matt Ryan, I'm telling you, his dead money next year on the salary cap is it's bad.
So would Houston take that on? They have Davis Mills. He wasn't terrible. But I would imagine that they might have to take on the Matt Ryan contract for this to work.
Dude, Matt Ryan at this point in his career.
He doesn't want to suit it up at Houston. That's Matt Schaub 2.0.
Retire, huh?
And you're just throwing pick sixes every other throw. Oof.
Hayden Paris.
Oh.
You know I love y'all. Karma got my bracket. I had UK losing in the title game. Good for you, Hayden. I named my bracket Hayden Paris is an idiot.
The pair.
I'm in 90th place. Keem,
Where
I live
are you?
90th.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'm in 80th.
I live in Atlanta. I'm from Port Allen, and I've been to New Orleans several times. Atlanta is way better. That is incorrect, Keem. That is a battle of two losing cities.
Yeah, a lot of strip clubs in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's pretty much
strip clubs in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You got to know which ones to go to.
The strip clubs in Buckhead, or are they in Atlanta?
I think Buckhead.
Buckhead, huh?
Yeah.
All right, coming up here in a couple of minutes, in 20 minutes, we're going to talk to Brian Polian. Any questions for the special teams coordinator? Any questions for the recruiting coordinator over at LSU and Polian? Get them inside of the chat app. If they're any good, we'll ask him. Coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning. We do have the Foodie Friday coming up here. Compliments of our friends over at Iverstein's. They will be here at 8:30 this morning. 8:45 as we'll be cooking up some good Friday eats here as we do with the cooking couple. Make sure you're following them on all of their social media. You Bet Your Ass It's Good on YouTube. You Bet Your Ass It's Good on Instagram is where you can find them, and Facebook to keep up with some of the local recipes that we cook we cook every week here on a Foodie Friday segment from Iverstein's. Some of the other things that's happened this weekend: Lyle Collins was released by the Dallas Cowboys. His first stop was in Cincinnati. That would be a great fit for Burrow. They're making some moves up front, man. We mentioned that they signed the two interior players last week. Lyle Collins at this point, now that he's out in Dallas, as they are definitely Dallas. When you look at the moves that they're making, Amari Cooper going to Cleveland, now releasing what their starting right tackle and Lyle Collins. They are obviously making a push to reorganize and get under the salary cap, really. They released that according to NFL's NFL Network on Thursday, that the Cowboys had finalized their decision to release Lyle Collins.
Jerry might need some money after this. This new kid came to light. He might have to shuffle some things around. Can't put all of his money into the Cowboys anymore. Got another baby to take care of.
Von Miller is out in Los Angeles. Miller's is going to move on to his third team since being in the NFL, signing a 6-year, $120 million contract with the Buffalo Bills on Thursday. Deal includes $51 guaranteed for Miller at this point in his career. He's 32 years old. He was obviously a key part of that Super Bowl run with Los Angeles last year. 9.5 sacks, but that feels like a ton of cash for an older player in Von Miller as he moves on and now lands in Buffalo. And the biggest story of what I thought was Thursday in the NFL was Davante Adams moving on from Green Bay. Of course, Aaron Rodgers has, at certain points of this offseason, really kind of been the dominant part of the news cycle for the NFL. But yesterday, he caught a piece of bad news as his teammate and star wide receiver in Davante Adams is chasing the money and going to play with his former college quarterback in David Carr in Las Vegas, as he will be playing for the Las Vegas Raiders and signing a $141 million deal over the next 5 years, averaging $28.5 million per season, which becomes the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. Davante Adams now going to Vegas. Vegas signed Chandler Jones, too, from the Arizona Cardinals in the offseason. So now with new coach Josh McDaniels and a roster that felt like was very competitive last season, not that they felt close to competing for the AFC, but it did feel like they were making moves to really start to become a player in that division and in that conference. Now making moves like Chandler Jones on the defensive end spot, who's one of the best pass rushers, if not the best pass rusher in the NFL, and scooping up Davante Adams, who is I think at this point right now, the best wide receiver in the NFL, and going to a place that he's very familiar with, or at least the quarterback and Carr, as those two played together at Fresno State. And now to see them on the same NFL team and leaving Aaron Rodgers behind, more importantly for the news, I thought yesterday that had to be a shock to Rodgers, huh?
It's a brutal blow to him too, because I feel like they were kind of boys. That's who he always references whenever he talks about, like getting together and like throwing. He's always talking about Davante Adams and how they've grown together and gotten better. But maybe his shtick wore thin a little bit with Davante. You saw them post the Last Dance last year. And we all thought that meant that Rodgers was retiring at the end of last year's run, or that Davante would go somewhere else and Rodgers would go somewhere else. Turns out that Davante was talking about himself. He's like, I don't know what Rodgers is going to be up to, but I'm out of here, which I think is fascinating.
Well, I think when he has that type of opportunity on the table and that type of money, how do you pass that up, man? I mean, it is, just $28.5 million a season, $141 million over the next 5 years. I mean, Adams, I don't know how, in a state that is tax-free.
It's a dangerous state to be in, too. You've seen what happens whenever people get money in Las Vegas as recently as this year. Like, there's been multiple arrests already. They've had to kick 2 people off the team. Like, the Las Vegas Raiders experiment from a PR standpoint has not gone well. But from just a fan's perspective, like, everybody wants to play there until they don't.
Good.
No, I thought you pointed. My bad. No, I'm with you, man. I mean, it's but I think Davante Adams is at the right point in his career to handle something like that. I mean, I don't know. I know Davante Adams, but I mean, an experienced guy and a veteran guy. I mean, look, I'm with you. Vegas is dangerous to be young and rich.
Except on you when you're poor.
Right? Exactly. But it's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
New head coach, too, Josh McDaniel there.
Yeah.
And his old college quarterback.
Did I say David Carr? I meant Derek Carr.
They're the same.
Yeah.
They are the same person.
Yeah.
They look identical.
Does he wear mascara?
I don't know.
You talking about Derek Carr?
Yeah.
I don't know. He kind of looks like it
No,
sometimes.
David. No, he's asking about David.
I'm not-
He's talking about David Carr or
right?
Derek
No, I'm talking
Carr?
about
He's talking
Derek
about Derek
Carr.
Carr.
Okay.
I'm talking about the player.
Because his eyes are kind of
like
dark.
smoky.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe a little mascara for the
Because
guy.
he got busted on Hard Knocks by Foster Moreau. Because whenever he had the sleeves rolled up, he's like, dude, do you have baby oil on? He's like, no. He's like, yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
And he's like, oh, well, sometimes I do for the sun. And he's like, all right, Derek, whatever.
Guy you don't want coming after you if you're feeling vulnerable, Foster Moreau.
Yeah, well, his spot, he has the beaker. He can sense it.
Yes.
Where's my bitch?
He's O'Doyle.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's coming for you.
On the onside kick.
No doubt about it.
In the water boy.
All right, remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Johnson Spillers, our official dentist here over at the Jordy Culotta Show. Looking forward to closing up what our experience has been over at Johnson Spillers with the tooth implant, as it's been a hell of an experience over there over the last year, man. Dr. Johnson and Dr. Spiller has taken great care of us and very easy to work with. They got a couple of locations. One's out in Gonzales, the other over here in Baton Rouge, but everything's online at johnsonspillers.com. You can request an appointment there. Even if you're a first-time visitor, you can stop in and get your appointment done online at johnsonspillers.com. But my personal experience, man, I could not speak higher of the experience of what we've done over there, replacing the front 4 teeth that I have, and just the experience all along the way. Dr. Spillers has been fantastic, and just kind of keeping up with what we got going on, working with your schedule, very friendly, got a great team over there. Check them out online at johnsonspillers.com. johnsonspillers.com is where you can find them online to keep up with the latest of what's happening over there, and to get your appointment today over at Johnson Spillers for getting your teeth worked on, cleaned on, whatever you need, man. Pediatric dentistry, they can do it all over there at Johnson Spillers. All right, we're going to talk to Brian Polian coming up here in 10 minutes as we will talk to Coach Polian about spring football over at LSU. Got a couple of questions about some personnel coming in. What was the feeling when you finally get the job? All the excitement kind of wears off, and then you get down to the facility, you look at the board, you look at the roster, and you say, oh my God, there's no team here. They don't have any players. What was the feeling in trying to rebuild LSU's roster and make it competitive in year one under Brian Kelly? Some of the things that we'll talk about with Coach Polian coming up here in a couple of minutes. But one thing I think that you truly have to take a step back And I know that the news cycle at LSU has been flooded, and we have been almost, kind of blinded and smothered by news other than football. But if you have been paying attention to football over the last couple of weeks and months, I think that you can truly step back and say, wow, what an incredible job they have done for, if nothing else. I'm not asking you to evaluate the players or look at their roster and how competitive it's going to be, but just the pure rebuilding of the players and that roster has been very impressive. Because the way that you evaluated and looked at this, at this team when you saw them play in the bowl in early January was, man, it is going to be a long road to next season and trying to get competitive just by the players that you didn't have, the depth that you had lost, the quality players that have left the program. But what Kelly, Frank Wilson, Brian Polian, the crew have done in a short time has really, in my opinion, been very impressive of just being able to load the boat back up and get guys in and to establish some depth here going into their first spring, going into their first offseason, going into their first full recruiting cycle, right? They were able to have tremendous success in the transfer portal. I thought they put really quality players into their recruiting class. I mean, you're talking about guys like Quincy Wiggins and Walker Howard and Emory Jones and Will Campbell and, guys that are going to come in and make impacts early on and potentially be representing you at SEC Media Day in a couple of years as leaders on your team. Guys that have played significant time and really guys that you've built units around. I think that Quincy Wiggins 2 years from now is going to be the anchor of a defensive line that now, as a freshman, he comes in his first spring and he's playing alongside guys like B.J. Ojolari and Ali Gay and Jaquelin Roy and guys that are going to be NFL players. That when Quincy is, really coming into his prime and into his own at LSU, he'll be able to think back to these days and think about the leaders and guys that got to the next level that he saw it do, that he saw go through it every day. And really be able to, spread that down to the younger guys that are coming up under him. So I do believe that they are building a really good program from the stance of, from day one, applying their principles, applying their techniques in building it. And I think that, one thing that may get lost in the reconstruction of college football or the reconstruction of LSU football under Brian Kelly's watch is this first couple of months and days and weeks of still trying to wash out the past of LSU football, find the right people to bring in, and really kind of reconstructing what has been broken down by the program, through the program, with the program over the last couple of months. Polian's been instrumental in that. We'll talk to him about that challenge and what that was like, and what challenges still lay ahead in building a roster in an NIL world, right? Where your competition obviously understands the assignment, understands what it takes to win, with name, image, and likeness being legal throughout college sports, transfer portal, all that stuff. Polian, a guy that's on the front lines for LSU of it, really kind of has those experiences that we can tap into. We'll do that here in a couple of minutes. Come back with us. Jordy Culotta Show daily, as we said, presented by Go Chevrolet. Our friends over there at Go Chevrolet every single day helping us out, man. Great customer service, great team over there. Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and everybody has put together really friendly people, a friendly staff, both in LaPlace and out in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales. Find out for yourself today. If you're looking for a used car, go see them on Florida Boulevard in Sherwood Forest. A great showroom there to stop by. Go see my guy, John Dillon over there at Go Express Auto Sales. He'll help you out. And then at Go Chevrolet out in LaPlace, they'll get you into a new car today. GEAUXChevrolet.com. When we come back, we'll talk LSU football here on this Friday. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Remember, we will be at Uncle Earl's this afternoon, mic'd up will originate from Uncle Earl's getting you ready for St. Patrick's Day in Baton Rouge tomorrow. He'll also be pre-gaming for LSU Baseball's first pitch, 6:30 at the box versus Nolan Cain coming back to Baton Rouge with the Texas A&M Aggies for a 3-game set as the Tigers and Jay Johnson open up SEC play here in Baton Rouge this afternoon over at the box. This evening. Over there at the box. 6:30 first pitch there. 6:20 tip-off for LSU basketball. So if you're looking for a place to post up and watch that game, why not Uncle Earl's? You'll be there all day tomorrow. Come save your seat and mark your seat and get it done with us over at Mic'd Up this afternoon and watch LSU basketball, watch LSU baseball, and get ready for all the entertainment that's coming to Baton Rouge this weekend. Looking forward to being over there at Uncle Earl's. Hope we see you too. Stop by. We'll go live at 3:30. When we come back, we will have Brian Polian, who is the LSU recruiting coordinator and special teams coach here heading into his first season under Brian Kelly with LSU football. Looking forward to our conversation next year on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Baton Rouge, be on the lookout for the first annual Maddie's Footprints Forever Quarter Marathon, 5K, and 1 mile fun run and walk coming to Baton Rouge on Sunday, March 27th. If you're looking for more information, it's easy to get involved and register today. Get online at runsignup.com/footprintsforever. runsignup.com/footprintsforever. And be involved in this year's Maddie's Footprints Forever Quarter Marathon, 5K, and 1 mile fun run coming to Baton Rouge Sunday, March 27th.
Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online, moralesrolloffs.com. The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. It is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button, as we appreciate that. LSU looking forward to a very active weekend of sports, as you'll be able to check out a 3-game set over at the box as Texas A&M is rolling in to square off against Coach Jay Johnson and the Tigers. That'll be a 6:30 first pitch this evening for LSU versus the Aggies, and then at 6:20 this afternoon from the Midwest region, LSU Hoop will tip off versus Iowa State, as the Tigers and Cyclones will meet up in round 1 of the NCAA Tournament. as LSU fans will be very much entertained this weekend. But everybody looking forward to spring football cranking up next week. That'll be happening down over at the Ponderosa as LSU's football team will be on the field for the first time under the direction of Coach Brian Kelly. Everybody really excited about what the future holds under Coach Kelly and some of the staff that he has put together. A lot of the names, whether it's the familiar names like guys like Frank Wilson and Cortez Hankton, who are from South Louisiana, and Wilson, who has been here before, to guys like Brian Polian, who comes with Coach Kelly from Notre Dame and very well accomplished and a great football resume, and he'll be leading the special teams and the recruiting efforts for Coach Kelly here down in South Louisiana, leading LSU. And it is our pleasure to welcome into the conversation here on this Friday morning from LSU football, Coach Polian, Brian Polian, joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Coach, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Morning. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man. In kind of keeping up with you on social media and talking to you a little bit since you've been down here in Baton Rouge and getting the job, it seems like you've been kind of on a South Louisiana tour, whether it was Mardi Gras or whether it was an LSU baseball game and eating some of the fine cuisine down here in South Louisiana. What's it been like since getting down here and becoming a part of the state?
It's been a lot of fun. It's just made the decision that when we got here, my family's been here a couple weeks now, that we were just going to try to get indoctrinated into the culture, and we were going to ask for help and, reach out to the fan base and to the community and say, okay, what should we be trying? What should we be experiencing? And in our world where I've moved over a dozen times in my own profession, and then, having moved a bunch of times as a child because of my dad,
yeah.
you can go one of two ways. You can bemoan it and say, oh, this is not fair. Or you can embrace it and say, I've lived in Waco, Texas. I've lived in College Station, in Palo Alto, California, Buffalo, New York, South Bend, Indiana, just go on down the list. And every time we move to a place, we're going to embrace it, and we're going to try to discover what's special about that place so that it becomes a positive experience no matter what. And that's what we're trying to do here with our family. You
mentioned growing up and your dad, Bill Polian, who is a Hall of Famer, of course, the well-decorated executive within football. I think the most recognizable feature or feat that people would recognize down here is that he drafted Peyton Manning, who is a New Orleans native and a South Louisiana native with the Indianapolis Colts. But did you know growing up that you were going to serve a life in football because of being so close to it like you were throughout your entire life?
I actually did. And I don't know if I'm lucky. I don't know if I'm simple. It might be a combination of the both. But when I was a kid in high school, my summer job was to go work Buffalo Bills training camps. And back then it was at Fredonia State University, which is about 45 minutes outside of Buffalo. And I'd go live in the dorm and get up every day and be at practice. And you're talking about Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Bruce Smith and Steve Tasker. Those were the teams that I grew up around in Buffalo. And I watched Marv Levy and Elijah Pitts, a famous running back coach, and Bruce DeHaven, the special teams coordinator. I watched these coaches every day, and I just knew when I was 15 years old, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to coach. And from that point forward, that's all I ever really considered. To be honest with you, Jordy, I don't know what else I could do at this point. I mean, I never prepared for anything else. So, I've been blessed that way. I knew what I wanted. And from the moment I discovered, now, God bless my mom and dad, they tried to talk me out of it because they knew what this life was going to mean, that there was going to be a lot of moving, and in the early stages of your career, you're going to work 100 hours a week and not get paid much for it. And losing is gut wrenching and winning is a relief, and all the cliches that coaches talk about. I mean, a lot of them are true, but the relationships that we have with the players, the relationships that we develop, I personally love working on a college campus. I mean, driving in to the football operations center every day and coming down Nicholson and seeing Tiger Stadium, as it rises up in the distance, and the beauty, getting to be on this beautiful campus every day, surrounded by young people, it's invigorating. I mean, it brings energy into your life. So, I knew what I wanted. I've been able to do it now for 25 years, and I consider myself incredibly lucky to do so.
Coach, my favorite was Darryl Talley, the Spider-Man on those Buffalo Bill teams. That was a hell of a squad coming up, man.
That was such a neat way. I mean, no joke. For my last 3 years of high school, I would take a week off of school in January to go to the Super Bowl. The Bills went to 4 straight. My family was a part of the first 3. So yeah, every January, and God bless the priests and the teachers at my high school, St. Francis High School, in Hamburg. They would high five me on the way. I mean, everybody there is such maniac Bills fans. It was, all right, get your work done and have a great week, and let's find a way to win this.
Right.
It was awesome.
You've spent the last 5 years with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. You guys won a ton of football games, went to 2 college football playoffs. When you guys get down to LSU and you look at the challenges ahead, how do you view it? Every
job's unique. Every job has its own set of challenges. Every job has its own positives. This one's no different. But after having been with Coach Kelly the last 5 years, and we've really known each other for about a dozen years now, but having worked for him the last 5, we come here with immense confidence that as I believe that as he installs his plan, his structure, his accountability, as he develops his culture, when you combine that with the resources at the university, the support of the fan base, and frankly, the wealth of talent that is available within a 400-mile radius of this campus, that ultimately we will do what we set out to do, which is win a national championship. And had I felt any differently, would not have uprooted my family and made the move that we made. But I have such conviction about Brian Kelly and such conviction about LSU, the administration, and their conviction to win here, that it made it an easy choice. I have no doubt that ultimately we will be successful. Now, it's going to be a process. There's no doubt. But we are well on our way. And this team is filled with talented, really good guys. And I think we showed that in a short time, we can recruit the type of guys that we want here that are elite level football players. I mean, we did that December official visit right before the early signing date, and Walker Howard and Will Campbell and so many of these these young guys are there. We only signed what I think 13 or 14. I can't remember exactly what the number was. We only signed a small group in that December date of high school guys, but as we met them all and spent time with them, I turned to another guy on staff and said, my God, I mean, there's 15 kids here this weekend and 8 or 10 of them are going to be pros. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. So we believe that we can recruit at a really high level here. And again, I am such a believer in what Coach Kelly does and how he builds the program, that I do believe that we will do what we set out to do.
You guys had members of the roster at Notre Dame from Louisiana. Obviously, you've paid attention to this state as far as recruits go. Now that Louisiana is your backyard, how do you view the state in it being your primary recruiting ground?
Well, it's been a little while for me since I've been at a place that didn't recruit nationally. So it's refreshing to know you come into a recruiting process saying, okay, we've got a home base and it's really, really strong. That's exciting. It's exciting to start every recruiting conversation with home state first, then we'll go out from there. I probably did not understand the width and the depth of the talent in the state. The reality of it is there are guys that right now are ranked 3-star players in the state of Louisiana that when we look up in 8 months are going to be ranked much higher and are capable of winning high-level football in the SEC. They're just, for whatever reason, have not been seen, have not been out on the camp circuit yet. It's amazing to me, and they're everywhere. There are players in the metropolitan areas, starting with New Orleans, obviously, and then you talk about Lafayette and places like that. And then as I did some traveling in January, I'm up in places like northern Louisiana where you wouldn't consider it major metropolitan or urban areas, and there are great. You're driving 45 minutes between schools, and there are great players in these small little communities. So that's exciting for me. And then obviously we're going to consider Houston part of Louisiana. To us, that is home base, and frankly, I look at East Texas the same way. I think they're just there's certain areas that might be considered out of state on a map, but as we look at them, they are home base, and the amount of players within like I said, that 400-mile radius of this campus is exciting.
Brian, was there a challenge, or is there a challenge when you look at the league of joining the SEC?
Sure. It's it's highly competitive in everything that we do. Yeah. It's highly competitive in recruiting. It's highly competitive in facilities. It's highly competitive in everything that we do. I was asked, what's one thing that you've experienced that you're probably not used to? I'll be very honest with you. In 25 years of coaching, I've never been in a league where head coaches in the league will take shots at each other via social media.
Right.
Like
insert Lane Kiffin.
Right.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
But but we're prepared for that. I mean,
Sure.
Look, even, I was at A&M for a year, the first year we were in the SEC, so there was some indoctrination there. And then obviously when you're at a place like Notre Dame, we beat the SEC on Kyle Hamilton. We were recruiting against SEC schools for certain players, not the entire roster. I understand that, but we were involved in those battles. So, we had a sense of what this was going to be, but look, we're not shying away from it either. I mean, we're fully prepared to compete against everybody and anybody. And that starts with closing down our borders. We've got to do a great job of keeping the best players in state. Now, the best players in state, they got to want LSU, and they got to accept the challenge, and they got to accept the accountability and the standards that we're going to set within our program. But we're gonna battle our tail off for every guy in the state.
There was a lot of upset Louisianians when Jerry Tillery ended up in South Bend and then wear purple and gold, and now he is a standout with the Los Angeles Chargers after developing at Notre Dame under Brian Kelly. Coach, the transfer portal, you guys had tremendous success. You mentioned the 15, 14 players that you signed, whether it was Will Campbell or Emory Jones or Quincy Wiggins or Walker Howard or even Harold Perkins. You guys got quality players in all of those guys. It felt like you signed. And then you did the same thing in the transfer portal. How has that changed the way that you approach recruiting, and then the challenge of jumping in there and having so much success like you guys did in very early days on the job?
You know what? I appreciate you bringing up. You got to forgive me. It's hard still. Everything feels like it happened just yesterday. But Emory, that Harold Perkins signing at the end was a really big deal. That was a big boost for our program. And I think when we got here and the staff turnover occurred, there were a lot of people around us saying, "You'll never get this guy now." Yep. I mean, he was too tight with members of the old staff, which is understandable. I mean, that's the nature of what we do. But there was some great work done within our program with Harold and his family and Emory, and you could go on and on. So I apologize to those guys. So
it was very much a compliment to you and your group in the ground y'all made up in a short time, because that was the feeling that the odds were against you all in getting players like that, and for y'all to close like that, I think was very reassuring for at least the fan base.
Yeah. And look, that was a big one in the office. Like we're not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Like that was a big deal. Transfer portal. So it was obvious that the roster was in a difficult state when we arrived. Coach and I had long conversations about it, and he was very clear about this is how we're going to go about this. That there are certain. The first thing we did was evaluate the roster and decide, okay, we need immediate help here. We can add a player here, but we feel like we've got frontline players. We're adding depth at certain positions. We're looking for starters at other positions. So the first thing that we did was sit down together, evaluate the roster, and decide where the most immediate needs were. Mm-hmm. And then it was a daily grind of who is entering the portal, where is this person in their academic tenure, how many years of eligibility remaining, what kind of player are we dealing with here, what kind of person are we dealing with here, and then lastly, does this person have ties to Louisiana? Is this a player that, dreamt of coming to LSU, and for whatever reason 2 or 3 years ago the opportunity didn't exist, so now there might be some immediate recognition or interest. All those factors were coming into play. We had to be really responsible. We could not build a top-heavy roster. We couldn't take, 15 guys that had 1 year of eligibility remaining. That would have been irresponsible and would have put us in a position where a year from now we'd sign 32 guys and not be at 85, and we couldn't do that. So it was a process. There were so many people involved. Will Redmond in our personnel office, J.R. Belton, Sherman, Jordan Arsenault. I mean, our personnel office, I thought, did a phenomenal job through the transition specifically where, the old staff was still here coaching a bowl game. There were only a couple of members of the new staff had arrived and were literally working out of the staff room so that we didn't infringe on anybody's space, as those guys were trying to get ready for a game. And to be honest with you, that whole transition was odd because it was such a late game, and it could have been uncomfortable, but because there were so many good guys on the previous staff, and because Coach Kelly, myself, Coach Wilson, Kerry Cooks, the guys that got here fairly early, because we were so respectful of what was going on, it made the transition okay. But that could have been hairy with 7 or 8 coaches still in their offices, and we're in the staff room trying to bring in transfers and recruits, and it was a very odd transition. But I thought that we grinded it out and did a really good job. And to be honest with you, it's ongoing. I mean, we're not finished. We've got some scholarships left that we will probably use if we can find the right people here before we arrive at training camp. But there were so many different factors involved in evaluating guys. And I think we did a good job, but ultimately we'll find out in the fall.
I think people, when watching your team play or watching LSU play in that bowl game versus Kansas State, the first thing that people thought of, whether it was at halftime or the game went final, is who's going to be the quarterback? What's the quarterback position going to look like in the future? And the job that y'all have been able to do and to stack that room. You've got the number one quarterback in the country, Walker Howard, in that room from recruiting. You got Garrett Nussmeier in that room, who's going into a redshirt freshman season after some high times last year and playing as a true freshman. And then Miles Brennan's able to come back to LSU out of the transfer portal, and then you pull Jaden Daniels, which was probably the biggest get of the portal, or at least made the most news. I think all in all, you have to feel very comfortable or confident going into spring next week with what your quarterback room looks like compared to where it was when you guys took the job.
Well, what we feel is that between Coach Kelly, Joe Sloan, Mike Denbrock, that we've been able to create competition now and some depth, so that you're not out there with Jonte Kirkland, trying to run, zone read. I mean, God bless him and those guys, with what they tried to piece together there in bowl prep. I mean, that honestly, it wasn't fair. But we've been able to create depth in that room now. The 4 names that you mentioned, we believe, are all great human beings. They're all going to get significant reps here in the spring. Nobody has said, hey, this person is the guy. What we've been able to do is create some really healthy competition and some legitimate depth in the room with veterans and with 2 young guys that we have strong feelings about. And then we'll just go practice and those things will work themselves out with the offensive staff. But yeah, there's no doubt. And I think too, we were evaluating who was in the portal at one point, and Miles was sitting right there, and it was like, okay, we probably ought to put a phone call in and just check in with him and see how he's doing and what he's thinking about. And does he want to come in and have a conversation? And he and Coach Kelly got together and had a really, really good talk, and we were able to get in a situation where he decided to come back, and that really settled things down, and we were able to move forward from there.
Coach, you're also the special teams coordinator, and down here at LSU, we've seen guys like Jarvis Landry and Michael Clayton covering kicks, but up at Notre Dame, you've had tremendous success with that, and we look up, and Jay Bramblett's one of the guys in the transfer portals who's following Coach Kelly and the staff down here to Baton Rouge, who's one of the best punters in the country. What are your expectations for your special teams units heading into year 1?
Well, that's the Jay Bramlett situations are really it's a great example of the times that we're living in right now. Jay was an early enrollee at Notre Dame because we knew he was going to have to start as a freshman. He came from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Barf.
So he's
Get him out of there.
Southern guy.
Don't blame him for leaving.
He's a Southern guy. He's an outdoorsman. He loves Southern culture. And we reached the point where Jake at Notre Dame accelerated his graduation plan. And he and I sat down and had a conversation, and it was a difficult one, and it was a heart-to-heart, but it was essentially, Coach, I just miss living in the South, and I pledged to you that I would come here and graduate, and I'm doing that, but I'm gonna make, and Coach Kelly and I knew months in advance that this was Jay's plan. He was an adult about it. He said, you need to go recruit a punter because it's likely that I'm going to graduate from Notre Dame and I'm going to transfer somewhere closer to home. I want to be in the South. And 10 years ago, that conversation could have been, for lack of a better term, a pissing match. Like, right. All right,
yeah, sure.
I'm mad at this kid. I'm going to yell at him, and we're going to part ways. It's not going to be pretty. But in the world that we live in today, you can't do that. Sure enough, I didn't think Coach Kelly was leaving Notre Dame, and we end up in Baton Rouge. I'm with him. I'm thrilled to be here. And 24 hours after Jay goes into the portal officially, he reaches out and says, hey, do you guys need a punter? We might.
Sure.
So, we are in the South.
Yes.
and yeah, by the way, Jay, they have crawfish here.
That's right.
You can go fishing. That's right. It's not hard to go see a Luke Combs concert. So it's just the world that we live in now. Like when we lose a recruiting battle right now, hey, we wish you the best of luck. If anything changes, give us a call. We may have a spot, we may not, but we're in a world right now where those relationships, if you're being smart, they can never end on a bad note, even though it may not go the way you want it to, because 12 months later, you could be getting a phone call. As it relates to the special teams here, I have respect for Coach McMahon. I think he did a good job. I faced him, in the Citrus Bowl and had to prepare for him. And there's such a great tradition of returners here. And then you look down all the way back. I remember Trenton Holiday when I was on the Notre Dame staff and we played them in the Sugar Bowl, and I'm looking at 200 meters back there, scared to death. So, the other thing that was encouraging was looking at the Mississippi State film from this year and looking at Butte coming, running down, had 3 tackles as playing gunner on punt. And I do think there's been a little bit of a change in the way college football coaches approach this stuff. I mean, a couple of years ago, Smith was out there for Alabama as the punt returner and the gunner.
Right.
So it's like, Coach Kelly and I both agree we've got to play our best players on the coverage units. That means some starters will be out there. It also means that there will be some players on our team that make their living on special teams.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they're going to find their role, and that is how they are going to contribute to the success of our team, is by being a core special teams player. And we're constantly searching for those guys. My message to our team is always this: first and foremost, we gotta make the kicking game important, because 3 or 4 times a year, that is going to be the difference between winning and losing. I think back to our Notre Dame season last year. John Doerr, our 5th-year senior kicker, makes 2 game winners, one in overtime and one with 8 seconds to go at Virginia Tech to win games. So, okay, people don't care if you have a kicker until you got to make a game winner. Then all of a sudden it matters.
That's right.
Right. We're trailing going into the 4th quarter at Wisconsin, and Chris Tyree rips off a 96-yard touchdown return and puts us ahead, and we never look back. Plays like downing a ball on the 1-yard line against Navy, and the very next play we tackle them for a safety. They kick off to us. We rip off a long return. 3 plays later, we score a touchdown. And that's a 9-point swing because we were able to execute a sky punt. That's how important it is to us. And we're going to emphasize it. Coach Kelly has always made special teams important, at least in the time that I've been with him. And it makes my job easier. We've got to get guys to embrace, again, what we're selling, which is first and foremost, we've got to help our team win games. And then secondly, and I have no issue saying this out loud to the team, there are first-round draft picks in our team meeting room right now.
Sure.
There are also 5th-round draft picks and undrafted free agents. And if you want to make the team, if you want to have 2 contracts in the NFL, you've got to play on special teams. So part of the challenge at places like LSU and Notre Dame and Georgia and Alabama is that because the vast majority of your roster is so highly recruited, and most of them have been the stars of their high school programs, they're not used to covering punts, covering kicks, being on the return unit. So we've got to, A, train them, and B, convince them this is good for the team, but this is good for you. And we're going to make you more valuable in the eyes of the evaluators when your time is up. And then we will cite examples. And at Notre Dame, we had 20 of them that we could point to and say, that guy's made $12 million in his career. You've never heard of him, but he's played over 1,500 snaps on special teams. One of the first projects we did when we got here to LSU was build that database here so that when we get up in front of the team, we can point to these guys and say, hey, look, this is not a household name, but he's made $13 million in the last 7 years playing football, and he's done it by covering kicks. And so, I want to appeal to the dreamer in them. Hey, you want to play in the league? Let me make you more valuable in the eyes of the evaluator.
Whew. That's good stuff. Brian Polian, 29 minutes into
You're
this
hired.
interview. My goodness, I feel like we could do this all day, Coach. I appreciate your time so very much. I know it's very valuable. I'll get you out of here. That seems like that has been the feedback from people around the program, people around LSU in the short time that Coach Kelly has been on campus and been directing and leading LSU football, is that it just feels very organized. It feels very well directed. And it feels like there is a plan in place that every single day somebody is attacking. short term, it just feels very professional. What is it like working for Kelly? What is his best attribute that he sells? Because at least to the new people that see him now, he feels very, very pointed, very organized, and very focused.
Well, I want to make sure that LSU fans and people understand, none of us walk around right now saying, boy, this thing was so screwed up. We would never disrespect any of the people that were here before us by doing that. The one thing that we have done, and Coach Kelly's done from the moment that he's arrived, is begin to build his infrastructure and put his plan in place. And he is the only person I have ever encountered in my career that when people say the word process is used, and it's probably overused in the sports world, this is our process. Embrace our process. But often when you say to that person, okay, well, what is our process? And they'll start to begin to talk in generalities. Well, we believe in toughness, and we believe in going to class, and we believe in practicing hard. And Coach Kelly is the only person I've ever been around. When someone says to him, define the process, he can repeat it immediately. I mean, here it is. Boom, boom, boom. Here's what we believe in. Here's how we attack things. Here's how we're organized. And it has never changed in 5 years that I've been with him. He's never veered from the message, ever. And it is a winning formula. And he believes 100% in what he's doing and how we're going to build the thing, and that it will be successful. And that is an incredible feeling to come to work with every day, secure in the notion that we have a plan. We are going to stick to this plan no matter what. And we know for a fact that it's going to be successful because the man has won every place he's ever been. So why is that going to change now when we have access to more talent? We have an administration that is willing to support us in every way possible. I mean, we are so confident that it's going to work. Now, we're not going to turn around and talk about, hey, in year 2, we're going to be here. Like, no, we're installing his plan, and we're going to work it, and we're going to work it with relentless energy and effort, and we are in a relentless pursuit of better. And that's what we're doing, and we have supreme confidence that it's going to work. Now, the other part about Brian Kelly is he's the single best communicator that I have ever been around.
Wow.
He's unbelievable. He can speak to anybody. He can speak to a 16-year-old rising junior recruit. He can speak to a billionaire booster and everywhere in between, and he connects with people. He builds relationships. And in this day and age, that is the name of our business. We've got to build relationships with these young people, and we've got to be able to paint them a picture and get everybody pulling in the same direction. And he's terrific at that. He's underrated as a football mind. People don't know how smart a football guy he is, and not just offensively. I mean, in all 3 phases. I mean, he started his career as a defensive coordinator, and every once in a while he'll wander into an office and somebody's attacking a problem that seems fairly complicated, and he can make it simple in a hurry and help all 3 phases of the game. And then lastly, we're in a very competitive business, and I think I have a lot of similarities between Coach Kelly. I mean, your competitor, your energy, your fire gets up sometimes, and people have caught that on camera. But the reality of it is, he's a really good human being. I mean, the way he's treated my family and the time that we've known each other, the way that he treats the staff, he really is a good person. So when the opportunity arrived for me to come with him and be a part of this thing, there was not a whole lot of debate because my wife and I, we know what we're getting when we work for him. And it's really, really good. It's really attractive to us as a family. So he said, let's go. We're going. And you combine that with the fact that we're coming here to such a special place with incredible tradition and fan base and history that it's exciting. I mean, I made no bones about it. I love the last place. I spent 10 years there total out of my 25. I loved it. But transition is expected in our profession. And how many times in your career could you say, I'm leaving Notre Dame for a place that I'm really, really excited about, man? I mean, how cool is this? So, we're excited about what we're doing. I'm thrilled to go to work with him every day, and Tiger fans should know their program is in great hands, and we are working the plan every single day to get this thing back to where everybody wants it to be.
Coach, this was incredible, man. I never could have imagined that you would have spent 35 minutes with us answering all of our questions. I greatly appreciate your time giving it up for us on this Friday morning. I will tell you that Baton Rouge tomorrow is got a sneaky party day in town, a little primer for you guys before you get to spring drills. But St. Patrick's Day is a pretty big celebration down here. I know you're coming from the land of the Irish, and we're not trying to compete, but tomorrow's a pretty big celebration in the city. If you guys can spare a couple of minutes before spring starts on Tuesday.
Minutes, days.
I've heard that, and I might wander out, to be quite honest with you. And I can assure you, there are some. There's plenty of apparel in my closet that is green that does not have an ND logo on it. Right. There was, I'm a proud Irishman, and I've discovered that there's a bunch of us down here now.
There is absolutely. Say hello to the Shingletons for sure tomorrow. Coach, happy belated birthday to your son. Thank you for your time this morning, and welcome to Baton Rouge, and go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Appreciate your time. See you.
Yes, sir. There he is. Brian Polian. Wow. That was an unbelievable, man.
Is that what coaches are supposed to sound
36 minutes later. You kidding me? Man, that was cool.
I'm ready to commit.
Thank you to Coach Polian, man. That was I never imagined that he would stay for 35 minutes.
It felt like he was like pitching the job that he already had.
It was fantastic, man. That conversation brought to you by Hargrove Roofing. Our friends over there, Steele Henry. Feel the steel. Call him today, 318-229-7266. Had steel on my roof yesterday. Good diagnosis as Steele was up there telling me what some of the things that was happening over at the residential roof. He's going to help us out over at Hargrove Roofing. He's the best, man. Yeah, he's the best.
That son of a bitch.
318-229-7266. Quit acting like a psycho ex. The guy's got a job. He's working. He's up on roofs. He went from New Orleans to Baton Rouge to Lafayette. The guy's busy. He can't be hanging out with you on a Thursday.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to kill some time.
For God's sakes. Hargrove Roofing, 318-229-7266. Lloyd might roofie you up.
Yeah.
318-229-7266. Hargrove Roofing. Cody Boudreaux, $10 super chat. Great interview. Brian loves Dune. I bet he does. Thank you for everybody supporting and being here during that interview. Like, share, comment. We'll be right back with Nathan Velasquez, the 5-minute critic here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Steal.
Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. It is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. Online at citycafebr.net, where good friends meet. Great food and even better service. Located in the shopping center behind Rite Aid on the corner of George O'Neill and O'Neill Lane. They cater for parties, big and small. Sundays, they serve a fantastic brunch that starts at 10 a.m. They have daily lunch specials. And remember, you can look at everything online at citycafebr.net. We'll give a shout out to Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk and the crew, everybody over at City Cafe for their support here at the Jordy Culotta Show. Online, citycafebr.net. Baton Rouge, be on the lookout for the first annual Maddie's Footprints Forever Quarter Marathon, 5K, and 1 mile fun run and walk, coming to Baton Rouge on Sunday, March 27th. If you're looking for more information, it's easy to get involved and register today. Get online at runsignup.com/footprintsforever. runsignup.com/footprintsforever. And be involved in this year's Maddie's Footprints Forever Quarter Marathon, 5K, and 1 mile fun run coming to Baton Rouge Sunday, March 27th.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
All right, a lot of support for our interview with Brian Polian. We appreciate you being here. Thanks for Coach Polian for 35 minutes this morning here on this Friday, answering all of our questions, whether it was about the quarterback room, recruiting the transfer portal, getting down to Baton Rouge, whatever it may be. That'll be up for you. Always brought back to you by RMB Builders. All of our stuff is podcasted and redistributed for you from RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew can help you with a custom design home. They can help you out with any type of reconstruction that you're looking for. Make sure and hit that like button, share button. From LSU football, we go to the 5-minute critic, as Nathan Velasquez is here every Friday with us talking a little Hollywood and welcoming back into the conversation. Nate, good morning. How are you?
Doing good. I'll try and live up to that last interview.
You will not be able to,
follow
Nate.
That.
Yes,
I don't know how I'm going to follow that.
Give us your football takes.
St. Patrick's Day in New York City. Are we looking forward to the celebration? You know what type of party it is down here in South Louisiana. What do you got on the plans for the weekend?
Oh no, we got an apartment party tomorrow.
Ooh,
I'm feeling
party.
like remembering half of it is the goal.
Okay,
that's what
Nate.
I'm going for.
All right.
If that
Remember the
happens,
second half.
I don't know. I feel like at first, obviously, you're going to have fun at the apartment, and then after that, you're going to pretty much just end up wherever.
Who knows?
Right.
So,
know what you New Yorkers do inside.
I kind of want to remember more of just ending up wherever in Manhattan.
Hell yeah,
I think that
Nate.
part that'll be the play.
Enjoy it, buddy. Looking forward to tomorrow. Party safe. Lloyd is a little depressed here this morning, and as it looked as we found out that Netflix, is this true? Are they starting to charge users for password sharing? This is a little late in the game to start doing that, right?
They're going to test. They're saying we're testing this out, and all of their PR stuff that they put out is kind of like, if this starts going well, they're going to start doing it in like a few South American countries, but they're saying it in a way so that don't be surprised if it kind of pops up in America just all of a sudden. But they've been trying to do this for a long time. This is all. I feel like it's a mistake. I get that they're trying to do this to win the streaming wars, but I feel like you just embrace the password sharing. The fact that you can't actually really monitor it makes it embarrassing that you keep saying that you're going to do it. They tried to do this about 2.5 years ago, where they said that we're going to make it so that whenever you sign into Netflix from a new device, we're going to text the person on the account a code. Everyone was like, "Really? That's what we have to work around that? Like, that's nothing." So they dropped that idea. On this one, so all the headlines are saying Netflix to start charging. It's like, oh, well, how are they going to do it this time? What they're saying is, okay, here's how we're going to get you this time. We are going to ask you if you would like to pay $3 for an additional user. And who's going to do that?
Right,
like, I feel like the takeaway from this is Netflix, just embrace it, because you're kind of embarrassing yourself, pretending like you're going to be. Maybe in the future you get some piece of tech that's going to make it so that, I don't know, but maybe you track it based on device. Doesn't YouTube TV? I think YouTube TV or Hulu does that.
Nate,
where you only get
this is penny pinching from $1 billion company, right?
Yeah. Well, the problem is that no streaming service actually makes a profit right now. Netflix makes a bunch of money every year. It does, but they dump all of it back into production. Like Netflix, it breaks even. That puts them ahead. HBO Max loses money. Disney Plus loses a ton of money. Paramount loses money. So whoever makes a profit first is going to be the winner. And Netflix is at the forefront of this, and they're doing a good job breaking into Asia, breaking into South America. They pretty much own North America. And I think this is them, they're in the meeting. They're like, can we do it? Like, how can we we got to be able to get $3 out of everyone that shares a password. Just let's bet on the kindness and the generosity of the American public to pay us $3 more.
Nathan Velasquez, the 5-minute critic, joining us here now. We are getting a live look at what's happening inside the kitchen with the cooking couple as well, as they are freshening up this morning's eats for everybody. A couple of taste tests there here on a Friday morning. But Nathan Velasquez talking a little Hollywood here. Nathan, I see where Amazon flexes their muscles within the movie and television industry. They scoop up all of MGM's library yesterday, which I believe is the oldest film and television library of all time. This would be like buying like Sony's music library, what Amazon essentially did yesterday. What was the deal that went down?
Yeah, so this actually started taking place earlier last year, but there was a bunch of behind-the-scenes antitrust stuff. But they pretty much said, go ahead. They bought it. They bought MGM for $8.5 billion. This is, in the streaming conversation, Prime Video, Amazon is far behind. They don't have the dedicated users that Netflix or HBO Max has. So they're banking big. This is a library that goes back to 1924. And this is the type of thing, if you watch Succession, they have this type of conversation all the time. Like, what streaming service can buy us because we have like the strongest, most valuable content library. So Amazon now owns things like the James Bond franchise, the Rocky franchise, Basic Instinct, Thelma and Louise, Silence of the Lambs, Raging Bull, Fargo, Handmaid's Tale. Just overnight now, they own all of this stuff. So it'll be interesting. I think two things. It'll be interesting to see, is this going to boost Amazon's playing field in the streaming wars? But also, this type of thing, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes grumbling because MGM, very respected studio, is very worried that Amazon isn't going to know what the hell they're doing, and they're going to tear up the reputation that they've built over the last 115 years. So we'll see how that plays out. But, I mean, $8.5 billion, it's a massive play.
And now we see social media starting to crack into digital production, right? Did I see where TikTok is going into partnership with the Cannes Film Festival? Yeah,
film festivals are not doing great right now. Award shows are not doing great. And I don't know, but this was a weird one that happened this week. TikTok now is partnering with the Cannes Film Festival. And I actually got the opportunity to go to Cannes back in 2018. They are strict over there. You are not allowed to take security guy came up because I took a selfie on the red carpet. Apparently not allowed. Kind of pulled his eyes like, we don't do that here. But he kind of said it in French a little bit. I was like, okay, just back off. Back off, man. It's a picture. But that's not allowed. But now they're going to be streaming films on TikTok because TikTok now is a partner of this thing. It's weird. I feel like I wonder if this is going to be a life raft that's going to save these older movie institutions, or if this is kind of like just kind of like a death call type thing. We'll see, but it's a weird move. TikTok and a film festival, especially like Cannes, it's strange.
Was it because there's so many just attractive people at Cannes that they would just, it's a natural app to put them on?
I think that is part of it for sure. It says that you're going to get a lot more behind the scenes stuff. So we'll see. Obviously, Cannes has so much more to gain from it. Just if you know anything about how secretive Cannes is and how much they kind of like being above everyone else, they don't really play into social media. This is a pretty funny story because they're a little pig-headed and elitist over there.
It's like Ferrari running its first commercial.
Exactly. Or kind of like whenever you see Bob Dylan in a Mercedes ad, he's not fighting the man so much anymore.
That's right. Well, Bobby. Yeah. All right, Nate, what's on the 5-minute critic?
So today we're dropping a review of There Will Be Blood, and then next week, getting ready for the Oscars, going to pretty much be dropping reviews throughout the week, showing the ones to pay attention to, the ones you don't really need to bother with so much. So we're going to be having things like, I would say the better ones, Nightmare Alley. And so check that out on 5-Minute Critic on YouTube. And also, thank you to Cody Boudreaux, because I am in the middle of season 1 on Raised by Wolves, and that is a damn good show.
In fact, he super chatted you and said, #tell Nate, Raised by Wolves season finale last night. Now binge season 1 and 2. Best sci-fi show that there is at the moment.
Good. It's really good. Ridley Scott, one of the best.
Nate, have a great weekend. Remember nothing. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Absolutely.
Y'all too.
Later, buddy. There is Nathan Velasquez checking in, the 5-Minute Critic from New York, here on this Friday morning as we get you set for a St. Patrick's Day weekend. We will do that with some of the good eats on our Friday foodie segment from Iverstein's and the Cooking Couple to close you out when we come back. Remember, daily, we are brought to you by our friends over at Cajun Ready Mix Concrete, CajunRMC.com. Get in touch with the entire crew over there if they can help you out with a project, not big, not small, doesn't matter. Residential, commercial, industrial, municipal, they can help you out. Get in touch with Cajun Ready Mix Concrete, CajunRMC.com, CajunRMC.com. The Cooking Couple is in the studio serving us up Friday foodie segment, compliments of Iverstein's. When we come back here, on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Welcome back here to a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. You see our Friday foodie segment that's going up right now. Compliments of our friends over at Iverstein's Butcher Shop over there on Perkins Road. Great spot tomorrow for the parade. If you need some food for the parade tomorrow, if you need a couple of meat trays, you need to get over to Iverstein's. If you're hosting tomorrow, we got bangers and mash that we're serving up here on the set this morning. Looking forward to getting the cooking couple on the microphone. Thank you. Wow, look at that, man. Son of a... Little bangers and mash for everybody. Bangers. Did you say no? No? No, about to say. What, are you sick? Yeah, right. Oh, my God. Tastes all right, huh? Oh, my God. The gravy.
That's what I said.
The gravy. Matuk, you getting in on this?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, bro. Oh.
He's grinding over there.
Pro athlete, bro.
Big show. Big show.
Yeah. Matuk getting ready for 3:30 to 5:30 today at Uncle Earl's. Don't forget.
One more?
Mic'd Up will be there live. No bangers and mash at Mic'd Up. That will be the only negative. Everything else is on the table. Good Lord, this is so good. This is incredible, man.
It's important to put this down before Earl's. You know, you got to get a good base.
Little base.
And yeah, then you can just tear it up
Party.
a little bit. Yeah, get after it. I did the responsible thing on my end.
Yeah,
That was up to the gods.
Like Holden and Holt, and you can't have it.
Good Lord, dude. This is incredible.
Any more? Is that it?
No. I do not need any more right now.
Fix it anyway, because I gotta taste it. I won't lie.
Oh my God, bro.
Chrissy tasted the sausage yesterday when she picked it up. What are you sitting there? You sitting down, man?
Sit down, bud. Cooking Couple.
Here they are.
Another Friday. Hey. Brought to you by Iverstein's. Remember, hopefully you're following them on social media by now. You bet your ass it's good. Yep. Tom Graining asking, where's Katie today? I think she's still in traffic.
She got stuck in traffic, dude. It's unbelievable. Yeah,
I don't know
what was going on.
She was sending pictures of her speedometer. She was on zero for like 10 minutes.
Zero.
I don't know what's going on, but
Parking lot. Brandon Hollingsworth, I can't watch this portion of the show. I'll end up eating lunch at 9:30 this morning.
okay.
Come to the Noodle, buddy. We got you some bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash.
Text me. I'll send you the address.
Good?
Depends on how I did on the bracket challenge.
I hate to say that this is the best every
You said
week.
that last time.
Every week.
I hate
it's
to live
the
in the
best.
moment. I feel like I live in a vacuum.
Hey, if we're doing our job
but this
right.
is the best. This is the best.
Better than the Asa Buku?
I mean, I hate to say
Pressure of the moment.
Asabuku was so
Pressure of the
good.
moment.
It's hard to beat.
God,
But what
well,
else can we put that gravy on?
I
Everything.
don't know, but I want a bread.
Hamburger steak.
I want a piece of bread.
Boy, look, you sound like my dad. Everything
sop this stuff up.
Everything he gets a hold to
I
tell
mean,
a
this
gravy. He's like,
gravy with
I
bread.
need a piece of bread.
Yeah.
I almost don't
bread.
even want to put the gravy on the mashed potato because I want more to sop up with the bread.
That's the Italian in you.
Bitch.
Yes, it's good. Tell me about it, Cooking Couple. I need
You
to
bet
eat.
your ass it's good.
Yes.
The
Pull away.
seasoning-
Step away.
The
Step away.
seasoning in that sausage, that's phenomenal, right? Did y'all taste it by itself?
Yeah,
No?
no, I haven't tasted the sausage
The
by
thyme,
itself.
sage.
I
Yeah.
can't.
There's
I
a
can't
little-
not do the combo bite.
So let Christy talk about like when she went and picked it up, the seasonings and
Yeah. Oh,
He's
well,
trying to
it
get
was...
you. He's trying to get you to talk so he can stuff his face.
Yeah. Classic move.
All right, Christy, take it.
So when I showed up at the shop, Galen was like, what do you want to do? I was like, man, what you thinking? St. Patrick's Day, they were making bangers. I said, let's do it. Bangers and mash. It's easy. It's delicious. It's season, it's
Yeah.
the season.
The mashed potatoes are so good.
So the sausage is a fresh pork sausage. He said they did a little salt, white pepper, sage, thyme, and nutmeg
Ooh.
in the sausage. I was blown away. So I tasted it and I was like, done, sold. So I did a little
awesome.
video. Lance whipped up some mashed potatoes, which
Yukon Gold?
potato,
Yukon
yeah,
Gold,
absolutely.
My favorite
Wow, no,
potato.
there's debate about there's debate
Right.
about which potato to use, and I believe
Well,
that's
and
For mash?
the super particular people.
Oh
Because
gosh, here we go.
I was watching some. I watched a whole. And look, I'm gonna have to do a little video of me
Talking to
sitting
you
around,
food snobs.
yeah.
clicking. Looking at
It's research.
well, like some of the best chefs ever. Like Marco Pierre White. I was looking at Gordon Ramsay stuff, like the Gordon. But what's his Jamie Oliver.
I love Jamie Oliver.
Some of these guys that are like kind of classic British guys is what I was looking at because it's
Wolfgang.
sort of an Irish dish, but a lot of British
it's
chefs.
Irish pub food, but classically served
Yeah.
in Britain.
So even if I've heard of it and kind of could probably
like an
whip
English
one up,
breakfast.
it's just like
no
a.
beans.
No beans.
So basically, they all. Well, you got to use this potato and that potato.
Ah,
and
get the hell
Oh,
out of
really?
Oh, my
They
God.
were particular about it? That's
oh my
funny.
God.
I'd like to hear
well,
about
some
that.
of these guys, like Marco Pierre White's like the best, he was like the youngest Michelin 3-star chef ever. So
I
he's
know he's your favorite.
overly persnickety. But anyway, Yukon Gold's my favorite.
They look great on TV too. if
They
nothing
look,
else.
they're so delicious.
The
creamy.
onions, though, I am particular about my onions.
We are
Only
particular about
Vidalias,
onions.
you guys. That's
Vidalias and red onions.
red
at our
onions for
house.
certain things,
Yes.
but Vidalias almost always.
It's an incredible bite with the mash, the banger,
so
the onion,
sweet.
and the gravy.
It's really good.
It was meant. It's all meant to go together.
Did you taste it?
Oh yeah.
They're perfect.
I feel like I'm seducing you.
I'm telling you, this is going to turn into an ASMR segment.
Put your shirt back on, for God's sake.
It's going to be eating into the microphone seductively.
They're
Rubbing the
definitely
mash all over your
buddies.
chest.
Yeah. Oh, is that your banger? Are you happy to see me?
Look, get in there and get you some more.
I'm happy to
There's
see you.
some more bangers. Both. Hell yeah.
Well, it was really simple. I mean,
Yeah.
the sauce, the onion gravy is onions, garlic,
Yep.
little bone broth.
Yep.
So we're going to start kicking up the post-production on the Foodie Friday segment. We're going to get all of this pulled and we're going to put it on social. The guys, the Cooking Couple will have it on You Bet Your Ass It's Good.
Yep.
We will have it on Culotta Show. We will have it on FM, a part of all of our social. And we will include the recipes now.
Recipes.
So we will start telling you kind of how we got to the end product and enjoying our Foodie Friday segment. But remember, all of our meat, all of our food, compliments of our friend Galen Iverstein over at Iverstein's Butcher Shop. He's located on Perkins Road, as we said. If you're getting ready tomorrow for the parade, you're hosting around the 100 Oaks area, you're hosting around the Myrtle Dale, the Cherry Dale, the Dale area, and you're looking for a good tray, get over to Iverstein's, located right there on Perkins Road. Stop in today. Great selection of boards and meats to help you out for your parties or anything that you may be entertaining for tomorrow. And don't forget, they're moving. They will be over at Perkins Road, staying on Perkins Road, but they'll be in the shopping center just past Essen if you're heading kind of towards Segan Lane on Perkins Road. As soon as you pass up Essen Lane, right there on your left will be the new home of Iverstein's in the next couple of weeks. And we will make sure and keep that announced and let you know when that grand opening is happening. Every Friday, Foodie Friday segment. Great work as always from the cooking couple. As we've continued to say, we've got a lot of exciting stuff happening over here at FM Digital Media, and a lot of the stuff.
Crush that garlic with your hand?
He did.
That's the move I've seen before. You just went straight.
Yeah, so that first time I was busting the whole thing apart.
Okay,
the whole
garlic pod. Yeah.
And then we got a lot of exciting stuff happening around food and cooking, and the cooking couple is really the ones that are heading all of that up. So it's a really exciting time around here around FM Digital Media. Graham Kelly says, show OnlyPans food account.
That's
a good one, dude.
Absolutely.
That is good.
I mean, have you seen OnlyPans? What they're up to?
What they're up to?
The pizza?
No,
not during the day. I haven't seen them.
OnlyPans, the pizza pop-up. I think they started in New Orleans. It's legit shit.
What a great
name.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to order online?
I'm certain.
You have to have a membership.
You have to have a membership.
Do you have the premium account?
Yeah.
All right, the cooking couple. Thank you very much. It's great to see you as always.
Thank you.
Make sure you are following them on social media. You Bet Your Ass It's Good is the Instagram, the IG. They're also on YouTube. But every Friday you see them right here. Great cut, bro.
Potatoes.
Yeah, this is. I could watch this.
So
all day.
That pointer finger is.
I've done it a few times.
Woo!
I've operated that knife a couple times.
Right.
Just once or twice.
So do you quarter them?
Yeah, so when I'm doing this, I just kind of wanted them to get to a point where they were almost the same size and not ginormous, so they would cook up quicker.
Right.
And I cut way too many potatoes for this.
There's a lot of potatoes.
I still have potatoes at the house that I didn't turn into mash.
Well, you act like that was an accident.
I was like, oh my God. Well, I wanted to cut a lot. I wanted to cut a lot, but I cut more than I needed. It was kind of funny.
No,
there you go.
Now he just has leftover potatoes. You can do French fries. You can do hash browns. He can
froze them up in a pan.
That's what I said. I want to do a breakfast
hash
casserole.
Browns. Oh yeah, babe.
You know how much I love my leftovers, you guys.
That's right.
Man, look, this sauce is legit fast and easy. It was just butter, browned the onions, stock, a little bit of whoosh.
Did you have to season the sausage at all, or did you just because
that
it wasn't
sausage is the sausage. We didn't do anything.
It was really
just browned
good.
it up real good.
That's awesome.
I love the sausages from Iverstein, though. This one's amazing. I'm not sure if they're going to keep this around or if it's just, for the holiday. But
give them a little poke so they don't bust.
That flying Hawaiian
it's
also
usually the opposite for me.
That's right. Just a little poke, though. Just a little bit.
That's my
banger.
banger.
Flying Hawaiian is legit.
The flying Hawaiian, no. I just like sausages, though, I think.
That's what she said.
You were the only one on set that could say that. Hey, you were the only one. I think all of us were looking around like, who's going to find it? It's got to be the husband, right?
Michael
I just got busy for the first time. I was like,
I was about to sign off. And that'll do Friday show.
That's all.
Here for the Friday Foodie segment.
That's all, folks.
Yes. Make sure you're following them on Instagram. You Bet Your Ass It's Good. Mikey Matuk and Mic'd Up will be originating from Uncle Earl's this afternoon, 3:30 to 5:30. We all know you're not working out there. If you're locked in the office, get an excuse. Get the hell out of there. Get to Uncle Earl's. Get to Uncle Earl's for 3:30. Mic'd Up is playing pregame for not only the tip-off between LSU and Iowa State in March Madness, but they're also playing pregame for the first pitch at the box. That you will be too drunk that you cannot go to because you're at Uncle Earl's listening to Mic'd Up. So just join us over there at 3:30 this afternoon. We're looking forward to it. Great to see the cooking couple. For Dubes, for Lloyd, for Noah, for Stewie, for Mikey, Katie, and Traffic. Sorry,
Katie.
Jeez.
Yeah, sorry, Katie.
Sorry.
The traffic was real today.
And the cooking couple. We will be back with you.
I found out what happened. Our boy Mikey T shut down Interstate 12 because just before Millerville because of a wreck.
Wow.
Like you need to know.
Wow.
So shut down at a tough spot. Dude.
Not the start to the weekend we're looking for.
That's no fun.
Get it right. Enjoy your
weather.
St. Patrick's Day. Make sure you're wearing your green tomorrow. Make sure you're over at Relief Med for tomorrow, picking up your green for the wearing and the smoking of the green.
That's right.
Sounds about right.
RELEAFmed.com. Remember, if you drop the promo code Jordy01, Jordy1. Jordy1, no 01. Jordy1.
We just need to make it 420, so we always
15% off. That's right. Jordy 420 would work. All right, so enjoy your weekend. Mic'd up, 3:30 to 5:30 this afternoon. Uncle Earl's. Make sure you're following the cooking couple on our Foodie Friday segment at You Bet Your Ass It's Good, and get over to Iverstein's to pick up your meat today. Have a great day. Signing off. See you.
Did you sneak a grilled cheese in here?
Yes.
Did you see that?
That was
a
cooking,
callback. Yes.
Cooking dinner for the kids at the same time as cooking Foodie Friday.
Oh.
So.
Well, we had our
I
chef.
did give you the money shot on
Yeah,
here. Look at
exactly.
that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just, would you go Kraft singles?
This was
I have.
cheddar.
That's
Cheddar?
just cheddar.
I'm
yeah.
not against Kraft singles.
Me either. But I was
Not.
wondering. Because we had that chef talk after we watched the movie,
Yeah.
The Moment.
Right. But I do like, well, we talked about it, but I like a little mixture of cheeses. But, the kids are quite particular.
Oh, yeah, like
so
little
I want some sharp cheddar, some medium cheddar, maybe some
Vermont.
Gruyere.
Some Havarti.
And the look.
Havarti, you guys?
And it's a good look. It's a
melts
good look.
so good, too.
Yeah.
All right, now we can go.
All right, see you.
Have a good one.
Ed's, Fred's. No, Uncle Earl's.
That's going to be a hard habit to break.
It is.